So I was recently asked how to forestall early scoliosis, what type of movements could be important, whether that's releasing tension or creating stability. And there's a lot of avenues that need to be pursued in order to properly address this. Going to a specialist is very important, and really understanding the level and severity of what's going on inside of your own body with that. What we're going to work on today are some stabilizing and bracing techniques that are really important for the overall structure of the spine. Scoliosis has the ability to twist vertebrae as well as the spine rotating and shifting. So it's important to breathe into those spaces, but also draw central alignment. So if you think of like a radio tower rod, you have these antenna or these cables that go out to the sides that stabilize it. That's like your spine and the muscles that come outwards that we're going to work to brace and stabilize here. We're going to do a few movements, and then it's important to think, you're doing these and you're progressing these and you're scaling these up, whether that's holding longer, whether that's putting more intensity into them. Start at a very basic general level and work your way outwards. Then you have to do all the other mechanical movements that would go and coincide with these type of very base foundational movements to start. So the first one, very simple, it's just a plank. We're gonna go on our forearms, press down through the forearms, root the hands into the ground, walk the feet back, brace into the body. When you exhale, think about drawing the belly button in towards the spine. Think about pulling the elbows to the tips of the toes. Think about a hollow space behind the heart, opening up the shoulder blades a little bit. So this, when you're just starting out, it's probably fine to go for 20 or 30 seconds. Don't jump into the low back. Oftentimes people can kind of sag like this. Keep it nice and pressed into as much of a neutral space as you can. Breathe here, nice and slow. So right now we're thinking about stabilizing the front line of the body. That's probably about enough. So we're stabilizing this line of the body, the whole front line of the body. We're now going to work into stabilizing the back line of the body and doing it in a way that's ipsilateral. So one arm, opposite leg. So you're going to extend the left leg out, right arm reaches out in front of you, breathe for a few seconds, and then step it down and release. Engage the other way. Try to find as much extension as you can. Press it down, release, extend, reach, and down. We're aiming for 2 to 3 seconds with a good brace in between. The important thing to think about is engaging the glute, reaching into full extension, but right here, the low abdomen, normally when you reach out and extend, there's this dumping into the low back and you kind of sag here. Think about when you extend out, bracing, hollowing everything inwards. Okay, do a few more. A nice thing to pair here, maybe you do these a few dynamic. Reach, 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 feel the muscles that are engaging. There's a lot of intuitive motion you need to understand when you're working to stabilizing the body. So you're reaching, you're extending, and then you hold. You find that dynamic activity, and then you move it into a stabilized isometric type of work. If you can't feel that low abdomen, here's something you can really do to turn it on. Bring yourself down onto your back, okay? Keep the low back on the ground. I'll come this way for the video. Keep your low back on the ground. Okay, bring the chest up enough just so it's like you're looking up over your knees. Place your hands onto the floor. Lift your feet just off the floor, just a little bit. Hover them, maybe even point the toes. You can't see here, but you get the gist. Really brace, feel this squeezing. Draw it in. If you can't feel it, put one foot down and lift just one leg. Try to find this arch, this line of tension, right? And just holding here, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, release, and then come back into it. You do those a few times to turn that on. Then when you come into these bird dog ipsilateral extensions, you'll be able to feel that support there, okay? The other way that we're gonna find support, sideways, also transverse, so rotational stuff, but that's farther on. We're gonna start with the transverse work the side planking first. So imagine just the structure. This is your transverse abdomen. It rolls around here like a corset. We're gonna work in stabilizing here, but also stabilizing through the shoulder blade, through the scapula. Press down through the forearm, lift the hips up and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bring it down. Pause. Lift the hips up and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. If you can go longer, awesome. Let's say 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And let's do one more. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I've got to do my other side just for balance sake, but you get the gist. So you work the front line, then you work the back body. Now you're working the side body. Let's get ourselves in frame here. Then you're working the side body, hollowing the space out, drawing everything in towards the middle. 3, 2, 1. Balancing out as much as you can. You're also working, so you've worked pushing away, you've worked reaching out ahead of you, and you've reached pressing out to the sides. These are all important motions for the upper body as well. A couple other options that would be important to investigate inwards with, I think, if I were to add on to it, right there, you could be enough. You can cycle through that again. Forearm plank, full extension, side plank. That's gonna give it a lot for you. The other options that I would tack on would be dynamic bridges with a hold at the top. So a bridge would be like this. Bring yourself down, bring the knees in close. Inhale, lift the body up. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lift, exhale, down. Inhale, lift up, and you'd hold maybe 10 seconds, maybe 20, maybe 30 seconds. So you'd hit around 20, and then you'd hold for about 20 seconds. From there, you go to these transverse crosses, these cross crawl patterns that toddlers do that are very good for stabilizing the spine. You could start right here, just tapping knee to elbow, bringing back, and knee to elbow, and back. Or you can go more for the full extension, knee to finger. This is with the knee still bent, right, all the way to the toe. Or even more, you hover this leg, the base leg, and then you reach out, cross, hover, cross, hover. Exhale up, squeeze the belly in, hover, up, hover. Maybe 15 to 20 of those. And then afterwards, you come into this locust posture. This is full extension of the full chain of the body. So you lift the body up, you lower it down. Lift the body up, lower it down. Lift the body up, lower it down. You do that for 5 to 10 of those, and then you'd hold and you'd slowly release it all down. That sequence, plank, extension, side plank, bridge, cross, full locust, for anyone will be foundational in building their overall core stability and dynamic control. It will also be very helpful for stabilizing the spine when it's moving into patterns that aren't traditional or neutral down the middle. When things start to go side to side, draw everything, work the system globally, and then identify the key little areas where it's starting to shift up to the side, and do the proper muscle strengthening exercises to draw that into alignment and release the areas that are too tight. Hope this has been helpful. Much love.